Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brands Discuss Anime, a 15 plus Reckless Amoeba podcast. This is not definitely take two. And I am here with my co-host, Brandon Falinger. How are you?
I think you forgot the other 71 takes, but sure.
Oh my god. You are a little bit louder now. Let me readjust the volume on you. Also with us, and hopefully his microphone's working now, Ryan Stokely.
Yes, and I just changed my headphone spot, and I'm gonna put it back where it was. I thought maybe it would work better in the other spot, but it's worse. I am also here. Technical difficulties, man.
Oh, TD-chan.
She's back with a vengeance.
Prepare your ears. I don't know if pulling my headphones out will do anything sound-wise to you guys, but
I assume not.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I can hear you guys now.
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
And Orion's here.
Yes.
And I'm back.
Okay. So, Brandon, we were just talking about this before the take one ended, but everybody's favorite manga artist and stand user is getting his own miniseries.
So Araki.
Teacher be wrong.
But what about Bullwinkle?
I didn't know Bullwinkle did manga. I knew he did Rocky, but not.
What about Rocky Balboa? Honestly, I think they could make Rocky into an anime.
They have boxing anime.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'd have to look up the one. I think there's one actually going on right now. Let me see.
I know there's Baki the Grappler, which is
Yeah.
I don't think that's the current
I watched
one.
that one.
Here it is. It's Hajime no Ippo. That's the new one that's going on.
And as you remember from a few weeks ago, the creator of Baki the Grappler, his daughter, actually made Beastars.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. I'm looking at something here. Hold on. Let me like pop this open in another tab because this looks real fucking weird, and I kind of want to watch it. Here, let me throw this at you guys. I don't know if we'll ever do this. If it is something, then Orion's gonna have a slight advantage with this, but that looks kind of sick.
Dude.
That does. Megalobox.
Is
that what it's called? Yeah.
Yes. It looks like it's a boxing version of like Mad Max almost.
Oh, Mad Max, yeah. I was gonna say it's like people, but with like real steel. How they, it's like half, at least the one guy.
And this looks like it's an older series too. When was this made? Oh no, it says 2018.
Huh.
I guess it's just the style that makes it look kind of older.
So.
Oh shit! And they're rigging the matches? Oh, that sounds neat.
Just like in real boxing.
So maybe after you get through Cowboy Bebop and Gravity Falls, you might want to start this.
This looks interesting. Yeah. I might want to watch this. This looks cool.
Yeah. I still got to finish Baki. You know, like everyone that I've said that to said it's trash series, but I enjoy it.
It's fair. Not everyone's going to have the same the same tastes.
Yeah. I don't know. I always like the tournaments, like animes.
Oh.
Like Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, there's 2 seasons of this.
Stuff.
Or, no, 1 season. The second one hasn't been made yet.
Speaking about fighting, do you remember when I was mentioning that 2 old men got in a fight over Pokemon?
Yes.
In another case of old men committing violence, I don't have the article in front of me, but I just remembered this. About a month ago, a 55-year-old man was charged for assaulting an 11-year-old boy.
For what?
The 11-year-old boy was singing a song about how bald men are stupid and how he hates them, and the 55-year-old man delivered a clothesline to.
What'd you get? Oh shit!
The fucking clothesline.
Clothesline. I don't even know how.
Yo, that's what. Look, all right. If you're going to perform violence on anyone, a fucking clothesline is literally the best thing in the world. Like, it's not even just a punch to the face. It's just no. You're gonna drop to the floor.
I'm gonna be real nerd here, and assuming the kid didn't run into the guy's arm, it would be more of a lariat. A lariat is when you do a running and hit them with your arm.
Yes, that was right. The initial claim that it was a clothesline, but his defense was it wasn't a clothesline, it was a lariat.
If this kid watched wrestling, he'd know what to do.
Yeah, sorry, I had to push up my glasses there.
That's a lariat, sir, not a fucking clothesline. Oh my. Wait. Anything else going on?
Not much that I can talk about, except that McDonald's Japan has a new line of burgers with rice buns. That's
Okay.
delicious.
Honestly, I thought they would have something like that because they have like special items there.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be something that would already exist, to be fair.
I do know Moss Burger, MOS, is famous for their rice patty burgers, and it seems McDonald's Japan is getting in on it. I've had the ramen burger from Red Robin when it was around.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Take a bite into it, just crunch. It's dried ramen.
Yeah. Do they? I guess they only did the black. I'm thinking of Burger King, right? The black Whopper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Burger King, where everyone pooped green afterward.
Yeah. But I thought it started in Japan or something first.
I think something like that happened.
Okay.
Anything else on your end?
I'm trying to think. Nope. Nothing really.
I finished my second run through Fire Emblem Three Houses. I just finished that last battle this morning. That's a fucking real good ending that I got. Like, every time I thought I was at the end of that game, like that storyline, I'm like, oh, I'm done. No, there's this yet. Like, I swear it happened like 2 or 3 times where it was like, no, there's more.
Is there different outcomes, different endings?
Characters' personal epilogues can be different.
Okay.
You can marry any one character. Or almost any. I think any one character. Yeah, almost any one character. That's a main character. Like, you can't marry random soldier number 7 over there, but like any named character is pretty much fair game.
That's cool.
So long as you are like of the correct gender.
Yeah.
Some characters swing one way. Sometimes they swing both ways.
Okay.
It varies.
I have that.
Adds to like the replayability of it in that regard, I guess. You can build the characters differently too. They all have their own personal like strengths and weaknesses, but you would be able to rebuild them in different like character classes.
Okay.
I literally just before this we started this, I downloaded the DLC, so now that gives even more classes and more characters that have been added. 4 more characters, a new side story that's mixed in with the main story, and like 7, I want to say, new classes to use and play around with.
Damn.
Plus a bunch of like aesthetic stuff.
Damn.
I went with, this won't mean anything to you two, but I went with Lysithea for this one. Because fucking Lysithea was my second favorite character. The first one I went with was Bernadetta, who was like shut-in girl. And it was great. Lysithea is like, oh yeah, I had horrible like blood experiments performed on me as a child, and now I have all this awesome power, but I'm going to die much, like, my body can't handle it, so I'm going to die quicker. Like, they have these things called crests that are in the game that some, like noble characters have, unlike the commoners who are just, like, peasants that don't have this shit. But Lysithea had, like, blood experiments performed upon her, so that way she could wield 2 crests. The problem is, it cuts her lifespan in half, or at least that's what is suspected to be the case.
Okay.
It's heavily implied, and while, like, the actual characters themselves don't have any proof, they can really only go on, like, the shady people that were, like, talking back and forth while she was having these blood experiments performed on her. So she's been like, I need to do shit now. I got to get shit done fast. I don't have time. So she's literally pushing herself 24/7 to be the best thing ever, so that way she can get the shit done that she needs to before she dies.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but no! You're so nice and cool, don't die. Also the youngest character in that game by like 2 years. I think, if I'm remembering ages correctly, she's 14 in the first part of the game, and then after the time skip, she's 19. So yeah, I finished that, where it's just like, everything is just telling you, hey, you're done with the game, but then there's this yet, and then there's this yet, and it's just one thing after another.
Bunch of side missions.
No, main story missions that are just like one thing after another dropping on you, just like a fucking, oh, you didn't know this was here, but here's this. Like, it goes from like, oh, cool, we had this giant, like, country-defining war to like, yeah, we won the war. Oh, but there's this super advanced technological city underneath the ground that has the literal capability of firing missiles in a world that is essentially like medieval times with magic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is it? On my first playthrough, you take one fort, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, cool. We got the fort. We captured it. We're just going to keep using it as a base then and move on. And this one, it's like, no, you didn't just, you managed to push back these guys, but now that third party launched missiles and completely obliterated that fortress.
Oh, shit.
And it's just like, I'm sorry, this didn't happen in the first playthrough. What the shit? What?
Cool, something else happened. Like, at least they make it replayable. How many characters can you choose from in that?
You only have your own personal character.
Okay.
But you can recruit, like, you get to pick one of the 3 houses to work with. Each one has, I want to say, like 9 characters in each.
Wow.
8 or 9?
I would say like 4. 9.
No, you get 8 or 9 characters to work with as your team, and then as you go forward, you recruit multiple more.
Yeah.
Just in general, from like the actual academy that you're working at. Like, you get to recruit from the staff. And then if you can like get the correct bond level and stats, you can start recruiting characters from other houses that'll like leave their house to join yours.
Oh.
Like, the only 2 that you can't do that with, no matter what, are the heads of the houses, and they're like essentially they're second in command. Those 2 will not leave their houses no matter what if you didn't choose them. And that's more or less for just plot reasons. The rest, though, you should have the capability to convince them to be like, hey, you should come over here and work with me. Because otherwise, in the second half, you might have to kill them.
And have you been playing Final Fantasy VII lately?
I have not. It's still a back burner right now. I know. It's one of those things I do want to get back to, but like, I got back into Fire Emblem, and now I kind of want to go through the next section after like how drastically the second playthrough went. What else was there? I haven't played Witcher in a while either. That's been put on the back burner too. Been going through Neo. That's fun, if infuriating at the same time. And playing Darkest Dungeon a bit. But other than that, not much.
And nothing much you said on your end, Ryan?
Yeah, I've just been playing a lot of Albion online. It's like RuneScape almost, but
I wanna say I played that at some point, and then I was like, I'm kind of done with MMOs at this point, so why?
yeah.
You've been watching Gravity Falls, Cowboy Bebop lately?
I haven't watched those. I normally watch those like on my tablet, but yeah, I'm still Almost on the second season of Gravity Falls.
Man, that ending of season 1 though.
Trying to remember what I definitely watched an anime recently, and I forget what it was.
Oh.
I watched like Pizza Cats or whatever it was.
Samurai Pizza Cats?
Yeah, Samurai Pizza Cats.
I've always seen stuff about that, but I've never watched it myself.
Yeah, same. Like anytime I go on the one app I use that has like shows, whatever. For
Mhm. Like it seems almost too ridiculous of a concept for me to like
Yeah.
get involved, like look at it.
It's
Yeah,
actually a joke dub of a series. Crap. Samurai Pizza Cats. What was it? A dub of Kyoto Ninden Tiandi or Cat Ninja Legend Tiandi.
It's still literally the combination of the things that are there, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Like they're still delivering pizza and shit, and they're like fighters. Like what was it? There was some weird show I remember seeing that was something very similar, except it was like not cats; it was like humans. But it was the same idea of like, oh man, we're fast food delivery people, but we gotta fight crime at the same time. And I'm just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and of course, it was a Chinese delivery shop, like food place.
Was the racism high?
I don't think so, but like I said, I only caught like a couple of episodes of that while I was watching TV at the time,
Mm.
and I'm talking like maybe 5-6 years ago.
Sounds interesting.
I don't remember the animation being particularly good. It felt stiff.
But on to today's anime. Or really, not anime because it's an American cartoon. Avatar Season 2. Did you watch Season 1, Ryan, at all?
No, I didn't think so.
Since you said Season 1 sounded interesting.
It goes so fast. It's weird when you're like binging it.
Yeah.
I like it. Here's the one thing I will say about this series that I especially noticed with this season. It's really made for like extended weeks of like you get it this week and then you gotta wait a week to see the next episode. Like it is totally made to like drop you at the edge and just be like, now what? You gotta wait. You gotta wait for this shit.
How many episodes are there in
Technically, there's 20 in this one. Each season, I believe, is 20 episodes.
I did see Season 3 has 21.
I think that's because the ending is a special.
Oh, it was only 3 seasons? I thought it was...
No, it's only... the original series is only 3 seasons.
Huh.
There is a sequel series that has 4.
Is that the Korra?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the one.
And that's most recent?
Yeah.
Or did they... Who was the other one? Yeah, but didn't they, like, name a kid or something? A weird name?
There are a couple of avatars that show up for brief seconds throughout the series as, like, either ghosts or, like, memories.
Like, I thought that one of them had a kid and they named him, like their name, but with a B.
Naruto?
Like, what's that?
Naruto?
Oh, you're talking about Naruto.
Wow, yeah.
That's a completely different series.
Yeah, okay. But I didn't... Yeah.
Naruto was not an avatar.
No, he was not.
Yeah.
Unless you want to count him as the avatar of Talk no Jutsu.
Oh, man.
Or the avatar of believing it.
Believe it.
I would much prefer the avatar of bullshit, but sure.
I never really watched either of them, so I've been like
Count yourself lucky. Count yourself lucky, Orion. Like I'm not gonna lie. Naruto was really good up until a certain point, and then it just felt like it threw itself into the garbage.
Yeah, my eyes kind of glaze over when I hear people start talking about that
Plus, there's
Naruto and other stuff.
it doesn't help that there's a shit ton of filler.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And from what I'm looking at now, since you were talking about extended weeks, there really wasn't. Okay, I take that back. There was a major chunk between July and September with no episodes, and then May to July only. I mean, like end of May to early July had only one episode in June. So
Here's the thing. I don't even remember that part. It's just that I feel the episodes are designed to leave you with like a week between new episodes to just leave you hanging on an edge. And when you binge it, you kind of lose that a bit.
I'm 6 feet from the edge.
yeah.
Like I remember being on the edge of my seat, just like chomping at the bit, waiting for the next episode to drop.
Damn. Is it the second season do the same?
Oh, the second season is where that really hammers it home.
Okay.
Like in the final few episodes, you just see everything falling into place, and it's like fuck, what's going to happen?
And I may have mentioned
Like
this.
you know how people talk about Game of Thrones and everything falling into place and things getting worse and worse as it does so?
Yeah.
This series does that with the ending of season 2. Like it seriously, you see it happening, and it's just oh.
And I may have mentioned this in our first part review, which should be in one of the corners that you could click on. But 2 different animation studios handled it.
Really?
DR Movie and JM Animation.
To be honest, like the art style, it doesn't really come across as like your typical anime. Is it more Americanized?
It is definitely an American design cartoon, but it is taking heavy inspiration from anime.
Yeah, okay.
Like most anime, I mentioned this in the first season when we reviewed that, but in anime generally you don't see them like really break out of like the shapes they make of the faces.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whereas in this one they try to apply like a more American style of like exaggerated looks and stretching the way the face looks.
Mm-hmm.
And the shape of the head to help match that emotion.
And both JM Animation and DR Movie are based in South Korea.
Yes, they are South Korean studios that did the animation for this stuff. I'm sure somebody did the keyframes. I don't know if that would have been in that studio, or if it would have been them just doing like everything in between.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm surprised how similar they look, even though they come from different studios.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it is just your keyframing and then staying on model, or at least as close as you can. Yeah, no, so where do you want to start with this one?
Oh my god, this is really good. Yeah, I didn't
Has it not disappointed you yet?
No, I didn't know Mako died during production of
He died between season 2 and season 3. The recording, at least. He died, I believe, while season 2 was premiering.
It was
the desert episode, I think, the first desert episode. I believe that's the one that premiered, and then he passed either right before or right after that.
Died between episodes 10 and 11.
He a voice actor? Or?
Yes,
for a major character. Also, he was Aku's voice actor.
Oh,
from
really?
Samurai Jack. Yes.
Oh shit. Okay, I remember when that guy died because I remember seeing something about that.
Mm-hmm.
About the voice actor for Aku.
Mm-hmm.
They even made a little tribute to him in a later episode of season 2. They added a little bit there.
I know that the season 5 Samurai Jack Aku sounded almost spot on.
It's the same person that replaces him in this series.
Oh, no way.
Oh, wow.
It's the same person.
Damn, dude. So that guy just took that guy's job.
He took over after the guy passed because Mako
Yeah.
has such a distinctive voice. It's very hard to like replicate it.
And the guy who filled in did amazingly well.
I'll be honest, there are points where in season 3 with Iroh that you almost feel like it's still Mako. If I hadn't been told that he had passed and didn't know about it, I probably wouldn't have even known. Like
Wow.
he's that good.
Damn.
Wow.
It probably also helped that it's between seasons and not in the middle of a season.
So
Yeah.
does the second season, is there like a time jump from season 1 and 2?
I mean, there's a bit of a time jump between each episode to a certain degree.
Okay.
You know, I would say a couple of days maybe between each one.
Okay.
Other than like either A, the 2-part episodes, or B, like
Yeah.
you know, the like last handful of episodes where it's like one big finale lining up together.
Mm.
Because
Otherwise, yeah, there's probably like a handful of days between each one.
because this whole series, all 61 episodes, take place over the course of 9 or so months.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So every episode is pretty much connected to the previous one,
Yeah.
except for a few in season 1, which could be put around sporadically.
Yeah, this one is where like your heavy story starts being a main point of like it's hard to watch these in a different order
Okay.
because there are some heavy plot points that drop in this.
No filler.
Oh God, no! There's no filler in any of this.
Like Zuko's sister, who may be a little bit unhinged.
Nah, she just wants to be queen.
Azula, worse girl.
Oh come on, you don't want her to step on you.
No,
So are all the nations, there's what, all of like the elements?
Earth, water, fire, and air.
Okay.
With the air nomads, other than our avatar here, literally being genocided
Oh, damn.
like 100 years ago.
yeah.
Damn. Why?
Because that's where they knew the avatar was. They didn't know which one it was, so they said, let's genocide them all.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So it's like the X-Men?
I mean, yeah, you can think of it that way, sure. Just a matter of, there's one of you, we want to kill you all to make sure that one doesn't come back to be a problem.
You said I would really like Toph. I
Mhm.
kind of do.
I was like, I told you.
But I still have a spot for Tyler.
We haven't gotten there yet, man. You haven't gotten to the best parts.
For Tyler or for Toph?
Tough.
Okay.
To be fair, we had a bit more background in season 3 about like Azula and the others in her group. So, you know, you might not feel as like strongly for how much you might detest Azula as you'll feel once season 3 rolls around.
Okay, because I like Tylee's bubbliness.
Mm-hmm. Like, here's the thing: you probably won't stop hating Azula, but you'll be like, I understand why she is the way she is.
Okay, she's written to be hated.
Oh, most definitely. Like, she's written to be an amazing villain, but when you realize the why, you start feeling bad. Like, she's kind of a tragic villain.
Unlike Zuko, is written to be more empathized with.
They're both technically tragic villains, I'll be honest. Zuko more so, because, you know, the whole banished prince thing, and essentially sent on an impossible mission that nobody thought they'd ever manage to find. And then Azula's just like, no, I'm going to try and work within the system.
What was he like prince of?
The entire Fire Nation.
Oh, okay. And what did he do? Like burn people by accident?
No, he challenged his father by like, essentially he insulted his father's honor by getting up and like saying a general was wrong in a meeting that his father had called.
Oh shit.
And therefore, you know, that means we gotta have an honorable fire duel, which leads to permanent scarring on his son's face and banishment from his kingdom.
Oh shit.
sent on a mission to capture the Avatar to reclaim his honor, to which at that point, the Avatar hadn't been seen for 100 years. So he's sent on an impossible mission to die, essentially.
Damn. That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or, I guess until his father decides he's learned enough, come back. Which seems unlikely.
Did his father talk in season 1?
I
Or not?
don't remember if Ozai talks in season 1 at all. If he does, it's like a couple of lines in a single flashback.
Because, and I know he has no appearance in season 2.
Other than in flashback.
Yeah. But
I think that's all we get in both cases. I don't think he makes an actual appearance until season 3.
And I kind of slightly spoiled myself slightly because I was looking at something about Mark Hamill's best performances, and he does Ozai in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Shit.
I saw the clip of him talking, and I can detect a very serious Joker vibe from him.
The feeling of Ozai is very different. He is not a comical character like the Joker.
Yeah, but I could detect the Joker losing all humor and just being a super dark villain.
It's like, I think you mentioned this to me before, and I think my response was, it's like you took a little pinch of the Joker and you had Mark Hamill use that as his way of doing a Palpatine impression.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's Mark Hamill's take on Palpatine.
Maybe when he has a lot more to say, I will agree with you more, but since I only heard 2 lines...
See, the part of the problem is it's I just can't imagine the Joker being that serious. It makes it real hard for me to see it.
Let's jump back to season 2, because that's what we're covering now.
Yeah, wild tangents. This isn't new.
Yeah.
Season 3 will be in, I think, February-ish. So, they need to go to the Earth Kingdom now to learn earthbending. So, they get sent off from the North Pole, and time for a quest with a few side things in their way.
Does that mean they just get jumped by all the different nations or something?
Especially the Fire Nation.
That's what I hear from the memes.
Yes.
And then the Fire Nation attacked.
So is it just how do you pronounce his name? Aang or Ong?
Yes, Aang.
Aang.
Aang is proper. Ong is M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay. So Aang, and it's just him and his friends or whatever, him and his crew doing this. Does it mostly follow him?
Yes.
Okay. So he's just trying to chill, and people are trying to poach him, basically, to get him.
I mean, he's got to stop, the Fire Nation. Therefore, he needs to learn all of the elements.
Yeah.
Which he's managed water so far.
And that's the main one, I think, to defeat fire.
You would think.
But air can also blow out fire. Earth can cover fire.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could fight fire with fire.
Yes.
That's true. That is most certainly true.
Yes. And he is slowly falling more in love with Katara.
So the main plot in this season is twofold. 1, learn earthbending. 2, figure out the Avatar state. Which we find out in the first episode is oh yeah, it's when literally all of the previous Avatar's souls, because there is a reincarnation process here, fuse into your body. Mm-hmm. You start to glow, your eyes start to glow, and in Aang's case, his tattoos as well. And all of that power and knowledge is concentrated into this person at once. Currently, Aang has no way to control himself while in this state, but his hope is to learn that by the end of this season.
Okay. And there is a downside to all this power.
Oh yeah,
if
there's a big old downside.
If Aang is killed in the Avatar state, the reincarnation of the Avatar will cease to exist.
So I'm gonna be real here. All right, going through this series again and knowing what happens in Korra, it makes me super fucking disappointed with the way they set things up in Korra. Because the answer to do what they wanted to do was right here in this season.
What are they trying to do? Like,
so one of the things Korra does is, and I think their season 2 is, there's like this big old evil god, good god fight, right? Where the Avatar is the good, like fused with the good god, and there's like an anti-Avatar, which is fucking stupid enough to begin with, that fuses with the evil god, and the evil god starts like erasing previous avatars after it starts attacking the good avatar, right? Like it starts erasing previous lives and like stripping them away. Whereas in this one, it's like, oh, you could just kill the avatar and then revive them, and you could literally say, oh, cool, that's erased every other avatar in the past and that connection.
What the fuck?
The answer to your problem that you wanted to do is staring you in the face in your previous season. It is the perfect way to make it happen without breaking the themes that this show starts in the first series. Oh boy. Anyway, like that, I'm more than happy to go on a rant, but we're going to be going off topic.
Yeah,
like so far off topic.
Yeah, Korra makes you highly disappointed.
I've heard season 2 and 3 get better. I have not watched those because season 2 turned me off so much.
There is a giant swamp filled with hillbillies.
Hillbilly waterbenders.
Oh shit.
Where one of them literally controls the water inside the vines like a giant mecha.
That's awesome.
And they use motorboats by like,
I was gonna say, do they use those big fan boats?
Essentially, like the waterbenders that are pushing the boats are swinging their arms in giant circles like fans.
Yeah, why wouldn't they just like get a boat and then use water bending?
because they have a flying bison
Oh, okay. That's even better. That's easier.
who gets kidnapped halfway through the season.
Oh.
So this is technically threefold. Find Appa.
Appa. That's nice. So they're just like constantly being attacked by fire people.
Yeah.
They were headed from the North Pole
Yes.
to where?
Initially Omashu, which was an Earth Kingdom city.
Oh, are we forgetting like the fucking fucking hippies that they run into?
Oh!
And how by the end of that episode, Sokka just has like an imprint in his head from slamming his head so much with his hand.
The hippie episode!
Like, the way they get to Omashu is like, they're like, look, we need to lose the Fire Nation that are tracking us. Let's go through this underground labyrinth. The Fire Nation like rolls up and is all like, yo, have you heard the legends about this place? We're gonna get lost. Just seal them in there. And so with their giant fucking tanks, essentially, is what those are. Steam-powered tanks. Or coal-powered tanks, I should say. They like fire off grappling shots into like the roof area and collapse it in on them. So they're trapped in there. And the hippies have like their songs just constantly going, which is pissing off Sokka, who just keeps like slamming the palm of his hand into like his forehead every time. And by the end of the episode, he's literally got an imprint on his forehead from his hand. And the hippie dude just walks up and he's like, I don't want to scare anyone, but I think that kid's the Avatar.
Hey, that reminds me of a song. Starts playing.
Oh, here's the other bit. I'm sorry, I'm going to jump onto like my irritation with Korra here a little bit. One of the things we learn in this is that there are like these ancient creatures that taught people how to bend the elements. For instance, in that episode, we learned that it's what they call badger moles that are able to bend the earth around them. right?
Mm-hmm.
That, in this series at least, is how people have learned. The Sky Bison, like Aang, talks about, is how they learn to control the air. How airbenders learn how to bend the air.
Let me guess. It was a
we will find out.
dragon that did the fire.
Yes, I was going to say we'll find out in season 3 that it is a dragon that taught the firebenders, and in the case of the waterbenders, I believe it was the moon, and like the pulling and pushing of the tides.
The moon itself, and not some animal.
As far as I'm aware, I don't think they ever really say an animal for the waterbenders.
Oh.
I believe it's literally the tides, just like learning and watching the tides push and pull. I could be wrong. I might not be remembering correctly, but that's what I'm banking on at this point for them. Korra goes to the extent of saying like, "Oh, we stole it from spirits in the spirit world." Like when the spirit world and the human world were like one and the same, we stole it from them. That's how we learned. And I'm just like, you sit there and it's like, but the moles and the bison and the what about series 1? What about that?
Yeah, what the hell?
Like, they retcon a lot of shit, and it really pisses me off because the answers are clearly there that they could use, and they refuse to just use it. They want to do their own thing all of a sudden.
Yeah, it sounds really dumb.
The sad part is there's a very good show in there, and it just feels like they ignore a lot of shit that season 1 had, like the first series sets up, only to like completely ignore and throw it in the trash later.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Anyway, everybody loves hippies. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
And then they go to a festival for the Avatar.
Good old Avatar Day.
Oh, nice.
Anti-Avatar Day, more or less.
Oh yeah, because they roll up giant Burning Man versions of the previous, like 3 previous Avatar, and then light them all on fire. They hate the Avatar.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, Sokka goes on some whole Phoenix right?
Oh yeah, he becomes like a super detective for that one for a while. Come on, man, you gotta believe in the power of stuff.
You're right, Sokka has some of the best moments in this season.
The best comedy. Like, every time Katara starts to, like, say something that's correct, fucking Sokka's just like, the hell? I have the hat! And the pipe! Come on!
And the monocle!
This is my thing!
Oh, look! Footprints!
Oh, God. It's really good. The series, it essentially ends with, like the fucking, the law system, because Aang gives himself up in that episode, is essentially, rigged, because, like, they go to all this trouble of trying to find evidence of a crime that happened over, like,
300 years ago?
I was going to say, like, 200 to 300 years ago. Somehow, and I don't know how, there's been a footprint that's been immortalized for all that time. I don't know how, but it's stayed pristine, I guess. Ignoring that ridiculousness, they go to the trouble of finding all of this evidence, at least as much as you can after all that time, only for, like, the guy that's running the thing to be like, yeah, no, that's not how this works. I say what happened, you say what happened, and then I say you're wrong. And then we spin the wheel of fucking punishment and decide what you do. And when they roll out the wheel, it's like, oh man, mauled by a bear, boiled in oil.
Community service.
Like, there are a bunch of horrible deaths. It lands on boiling oil, and then all of a sudden, like, the Fire Nation invades that town. And then it's like, Avatar, help us! Oh man, I'd love to, but I've been scheduled to be boiled in oil. I can't really do anything. And the guy just moves the thing over
to service.
He moves it over to community service. It's like, look, see, community service. Let's start serving the community and get rid of those firebenders. Which they do. And apparently,
celebrate Aang saving them. They have a new food, like non-boiled in oil dough.
Non-fried dough to represent when the Avatar was not boiled in oil.
Wow. That's great.
So in the meantime, this whole time, now we're going to get onto this bit, right? We're talking about the hilarious bits, but there is like a serious story that's going on in parallel with all this.
Oh, totally.
So the last time we did this, we were scolded at one point for not talking enough about Zuko. I'm sorry, Zuko season 1 really didn't have much going on other than I'm a big evil guy, grr. We really get the transition at this point with Zuko in this season. This is where we can really start talking about where he goes. Because at this point, when his sister starts showing up, when Azula's here, this is when she basically says, no, Zuko. You're a traitor, and we're gonna fucking hunt you down.
Oh, damn.
So to the point that they can't even work with other firebenders now. Like, they are completely thrown out. Yes. They're thrown out completely. Him and his uncle are now basically refugees on the run trying to escape the Fire Nation.
His tea-loving uncle.
Yes.
His what?
To the point where, like, they're yes, tea.
Okay.
Like, there's literally a scene where they're on the run and they're like trying to forage for food, and Iroh's just sitting there like looking at the rare jade lotus plant, and he's just like, now this is the rare jade lotus, said to make a delectable tea. Or it could be, I forget what the other one was. Like,
I think he said the rare
lily.
jade lotus that could be poisonous.
I thought it was 2 different types of plant, but he didn't know which one it was. Like, the rare jade lotus is like the delicious tea, and then it's like, or the rare tiger lily, which is deadly poisonous.
Oh, remember that plant I found? Oh,
And-
it's poison.
He's like sitting there, delectable tea or deadly poison? And then Zuko comes back. It's like, I couldn't get anything. It's like, oh, Zuko, remember that plant I was looking at? Turns out it was poison.
Oh, but these berries.
No, hold on. It's like he starts describing how it's gonna go to the point where, like, and then my throat will swell up and I will have a hard time breathing, and that's when you will have to help me. But look, I found these berries. Said to be, I forget what the names were, but he's always like, said to be either the cure for this or some other deadly poison, essentially.
Oh, man.
No. It's said to cause blindness. That was the other problem. I'm like, oh great, you're gonna suffocate and be blind now. Perfect. There are points along this line where, like, Zuko and Iroh get, like, taken in for a moment by, like, this family who have also been, like, basically brought in as refugees. This girl starts taking an interest in Zuko while they're there, to the point where, like, she shows off her own. She tries to get close to him. He's backing away because, you know, he feels isolated. He's got the scar, etc., etc. She shows him that she was also burned, like, along the leg by a firebender at one point, and has her own scar. They end up leaving with a bunch of nice, you know, food and stuff, but then they steal, like, I don't know what the fuck that thing is. I forget if they ever give it a name, like that bird.
It looks like a chocobo.
Yeah, it's like a cross between, like, it's a more predatory looking chocobo, I want to say. Like, a chocobo looks nice and cute. This one looks like, instead of like a fluffy little chick, like a chicken almost, you fused it with like a
ostrich.
No, it's the size and body shape of an ostrich, but it's almost like you fused an ostrich with, like, the looks of a hawk.
Okay.
A bit more like that. Like, the beak shape is different, and, like, the way the feathers are set up are different. Like, it almost looks more angular, like a hawk would.
Mm-hmm.
But they end up stealing that and, like, using that as their mount for a while. You know, you just get, like, the sad look of the girl watching them leave on it with, like, this very big disappointment in her. Like, you can see it, that this is what they decided to do.
And they had an episode, like, pure Zuko, which was interesting.
Yeah. Zuko alone, where he splits up with his uncle and he goes his own way. In the meantime, you know, his uncle's tracking him, just being like, I'm waiting for when he needs me. We should also talk about the blind bandit.
Oh,
and the wrestling episode.
Oh, the boulder!
I forgot how hilarious the boulder is. They got the fucking hippo, the boulder, the mole, all these other crazy fucking wrestling level shit. And just Sokka, like, leaning so hard into it like a fanboy. Oh, it's great.
I know the boulder was the rock, but was the hippo-looking guy supposed to be King Hippo from Punch-Out.
I feel like it was a reference to that. I really do.
Did he have an X on his stomach?
He did not, but he definitely had hippo-shaped teeth.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he was fat like King Hippo is.
Yeah.
and of course, there's a firebender there, and everybody's booing him.
Yeah, one that everyone hates.
Was he actually a firebender, do you think? Or
I don't think so.
Mm,
I think he's just playing the part.
yeah.
Oh, this is where we meet our girl. This is where we meet the best girl. She comes in. It's like, gotta fight the champion now, the Boulder, after all of your badassery. And it's The Rock basically doing like a Hulk Hogan impression, but you get Toph finally coming in, and literally she can hear with her feet.
Whoa.
She senses the vibrations of
Yeah.
things around her, like in the ground.
Yeah.
So when someone takes a step, she knows immediately where that person is exactly.
That's crazy.
Well, she's blind, so her hearing and sense of touch has been enhanced.
That too.
And she's an earthbender, so there's that.
Oh, so yeah, anything that's not touching the ground, she's completely blind to.
And yes, there's so many blind jokes.
Oh yeah, blind jokes that Toph herself makes.
Like when Appa gets kidnapped, they're making "Have you seen this guy Bison" poster, and Sokka can't draw for shit.
Oh yeah, else is just like mocking Sokka for what he's doing. Like, what the fuck is this? And Toph's just like, oh, it looks perfect to me. Sokka looks over and is like, oh, thank you. Why do you feel the need to do this? Like, they forget she's blind half the time.
Like, hey, it's over there! That's what you will say when one of you actually sees it.
Starts like waving her hand wildly in front of her face, smiling like a moron. Because she can't see shit.
Oh my god.
This is why I like Toph. Not just the fact that she's blind and a fucking badass at the same time. I don't even give a shit that she's a girl.
She's
The fact
sarcastic
that
as shit.
Oh yes, the sarcasm is great. Like everything. Like she's the perfect fucking package for a character. And I love it so much. Oh god.
And there's also lightning bending.
You know, firebenders can, when they're trained correctly, fire lightning. Like, quite literally, lightning strikes. There is the interesting bit then we get to where they're looking for a library out in the desert. They find this guy who's like a paleontologist, or an archaeologist, I should say, who's been looking for it for like generations and has like nearly died every time he's gone out into the desert to try and find it.
But he's still
like,
super excited.
Still super excited to try and find it again. He's very dedicated. They do find it buried almost completely in the sand. Toph and Appa stay out because A, Appa's too big, and B, someone needs to stay out with Appa anyway. Plus, Toph is all like, I don't know, I don't like the idea of being in there. So everyone else goes in, and so here's the thing. Do you remember when in season 1, Brandon, where General Zhao talked about how he'd found a library and discovered the secret of like location of the spirits, right?
Oh.
The moon and ocean spirit.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize.
There's even a little flashback in this episode showing Zhao doing the studying. That was him. He found that information here.
Oh, and he's that burned it down.
He's the one that burned all the information on the Fire Nation, or damn near all of it.
Damn, so he read everything and then burned it?
He read what he needed to read, and then destroyed any information on the Fire Nation to protect his nation from being, from people finding weaknesses in it. Needless to say that the guardian spirit of this library was not happy, and was essentially not going to allow anybody in. Until they're like, oh, this is the Avatar, the bridge between the spirit and the real world. He can vouch for us. We're not going to use anything for like bad purposes.
You must give me a bit of knowledge first.
Let's see here. A water scroll, a wanted poster for Aang, a books from the anthropologist.
And
and a fancy knot that Sokka tied. Like the fucking like guardian owl spirit is just looking at him like, you're not very bright, are you?
What No, the reason why Toph wanted to stay up, she's seen books before. They don't really
Oh, yeah.
interest her.
I'll tell you it was a blind joke. I've seen books before, They don't really have anything interesting to me. If you find something you can listen to, though, give me a call. But yeah, they find out in that library that there is a day of a solar eclipse, and apparently during that time, much like the waterbenders at the end of season 1, if the sun is blocked, firebenders lose their power. And if it's the moon being blocked, the waterbenders lose their power. So the plan becomes we need to find a way to invade the Fire Nation on the day of the eclipse. As the way better name that they come up with like at the end of this season, the Day of Black Sun. So, some interesting little tidbits here and there. There's also a little side point where while Iroh is tracking Zuko, Toph has run off on her own after having a fight with Katara, and they have a little chit chat. And because Toph doesn't know who Iroh is, all she knows is that he's a nice old man that gave her good advice. That comes back later on near the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff in here where the ending is where it just all pays off.
Before we topple into the compounded plot, Ryan, any questions?
Not really. I think I've asked as I had them.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, this is where we're going to start digging into the end here, because Appa gets stolen after they escape the library once they already...
Have they been using Appa the whole time?
Yep.
Yes, he's their flyer. He flies them places.
He gets stolen by sandbenders, and since the library is collapsing, Toph is holding it up the best she can, so at the same time she can save Appa while saving her friends.
She's an earthbender. She's the best earthbender. She also can't see in sand. The way I almost imagine is trying to watch TV through static is basically the way she's seeing things.
All the time, or just...
just on the sand, because the sand's so loose and gritty. It's not solid earth.
Oh, because she sees through vibrations, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming it's much like a static TV.
Yeah, she says everything looks fuzzy.
Yeah. So she can't really fight them as well. She can hold up that giant toppling building, but she can't exactly tell where everything else is around her. So Appa gets taken because she can't really let go of that thing for too long, or it's gonna fall down.
Oh, and I think we forgot a point. She is somewhat royalty, so...
She's a very high-ranking noble.
So...
And we should point out that her family was not happy with her leaving like this. They were super hyper uber overprotective.
And they thought the Avatar kidnapped her, so they have 2 trained men tracking them down.
Oh, one of them is literally oh, this bitch stole my money from the winnings of the underground wrestling ring. And the other one is her original earthbending teacher, who basically, teaches her the tiniest of basics, which she's way too advanced for.
She a prodigy or just...
Oh, she is just a natural born prodigy.
Okay.
But nobody seems to believe she can do anything on her own.
Because she's blind.
Yes. They believe that because she's blind, she can't do shit.
Okay.
And even when she shows that she is a badass, they still want to overprotect her even more.
So, hasn't it crossed their minds at all she escaped herself?
No, of course not. She's blind. She's a little girl. She's a 10-year-old girl who's blind. She can't do shit.
I thought she was 12.
Oh, no, yeah, she is the same age as Aang. That's right. Yeah, they're both 12. For some reason, I was thinking 10. I don't know why.
And then one of Sokka's old girlfriends pops up.
Yeah, Suki from, I'm blanking. I'm blanking on the name. Starts with a K. God damn it, I'm fucking blanking
Kyoshi.
so hard. Kyoshi, that's it. From the Kyoshi Warriors. We have a nice little thing of them working their way toward bossing, say, where they after they questioned the sandbenders on this shit, To a mildly threatening degree as Aang starts losing his shit because, there's a spiritual bond between him and Appa, and the fact that Appa's missing is a big-ass problem.
And they need to go to the Earth Kingdom city, or the Earth Kingdom capital, really, of Ba Sing Se.
Oh, I think I forgot to mention, Bumi basically let all of the Fire Nation into Omashu. They've taken over Omashu, which is why they left there, and Bumi couldn't teach them. They did manage to let everyone escape.
And Bumi is his friend from when he was, 100 years ago.
Oh yeah, Bumi's like 110 or 112, somewhere in there.
We mentioned him on the first part about how he loves, riding around on slides through the city, even though he's in his hundreds.
He did mention things about, Jin, positive and negative, so, attack and defense. But he talks about, neutral Jin, where you wait and listen, which is what leads him to find Toph as his earthbending teacher. Bumi also lets on that he's waiting for the right time to strike and take back his city. We also learn about a little thing that you learn with Pai Sho. Apparently, it's a bit more than a game that Iroh likes to play.
There seems to be some secret message that they put down within the game
to communicate in what some might call a secret society.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. I'm curious where your head's going.
That because Iroh and Zuko are rebels, this must either be A, something about against the Fire Nation, or B, something about bringing peace between the four elements.
I can tell you right now it's not A, because they're literally Fire Nation royalty. If it was against the Fire Nation, these people would not be aware of the fact that they are no longer part of it, or even if they would want to fight it. Also, Iroh would have been part of this for a long time, apparently, if he knows this shit already.
Okay, so I
can't guarantee B is correct either, because I'm not even sure, I'll be honest, if that was ever their goal or not.
I'm sticking with B until I find out more information.
You will in season 3. I can't say anything. I don't think it comes up again until 3, but I don't remember if they've ever had a definitive goal at that point. I know what they're like in Korra. I remember that one specifically, but I can't say the same for the rest of it, prior to that.
And when they get to Ba Sing Se, there's a lot of brainwashed people there.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se. There has never been a 100-year-long war with the Fire Nation. What are you talking about? Doesn't exist.
And so many clones of the one woman?
They're not clones. At least not physically. Mentally, they may as well be.
All the hive mind of Judy.
Yes. Your guide to Ba Sing Se.
What are Is there a woman named Susie in that too?
Nope, they are all Judy.
Damn.
They Judi or something.
JU space DI would be my guess.
Like JUU maybe.
Could be W. Yeah. Oh, right. So here's something I wanted to ask you actually, because I'm looking at the names of the
episodes.
The episodes. How did you feel about Tales of Ba Sing Se?
I thought that was so interesting.
Just little anecdotal stories of each of the characters that are there.
Yeah, Zuko has his own little
date night.
Yeah. There's Iroh having a memory of his son and helping the zookeeper.
Dude, that Iroh one, I swear that one nearly brings me to tears. That one's so sad. It's played so well.
Yeah.
That is the one where they give Mako a little in dedication to Mako in memory of him.
Okay.
That episode. It is such a good little tale with Iroh. where he's just like traveling around the city gathering things to like celebrate his dead son's birthday.
Okay.
What about Sokka going to the haiku slam?
Oh yeah, Sokka going into like a poetry parlor and just being like, "Yeah, I'm Sokka with an Aka, and I just rocked you."
Oh wait,
What the hell?
that has too many syllables. Get out.
Yeah, like all of them are just dead silent when he doesn't get the syllables perfect because he's doing haiku, so it's like 7, 5, and 7.
Yeah.
So when the syllables aren't right, it's just dead. May as well have like fucking crickets chirping. But when he gets it perfectly right, which is almost all the time, they start like giggling so happy because he gets it right and does it in like a fucking slam at this like this I guess the person that runs it who thinks she's top shit.
Yeah.
And then the bouncer shows up and tosses him on his ass when he has one too many syllables.
Get out.
That's one too many syllables, bub.
And as I was looking through the episode list, I did see the Appa episode won a Humane Society award.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, there's an episode that gives us a catch up on all the shit that Appa's been through, leading up to where he is in the city. To the point where he's literally going to the city at damn near the same time as Aang. Like, we get a shot of, like, Iroh and Zuko on their way to the city in the boat, in the ferry that's going to take them across to it, and there's Appa flying in the air. And it's like, either this is right before Aang gets into the city, or this is right after. Like, it's damn near at the same time.
And it seems that Zuko is somewhat turning for the side of the protagonist.
We should also mention the fact that there was a giant drill that tried to get through what is essentially the Great Wall of China surrounding this city.
And they exploded it from the inside out.
Like, it's such a clever way to do it, where it's like, look, we need to, like, get into this giant-ass drill, slice through these,
Beams.
The beams that are, like, holding it together. And it's like, no, we just need to cut through, like, half of them. And then once one falls, the rest will all come in after it like dominoes.
And they're using water bending to slice. And I'm just like, how fast do they need to throw that water to make it slice through metal?
Well, I mean, there are like, what was it? High pressure water slicers that cut through metal.
Oh, yeah.
Those do exist. Those are things. However, for two people to do that with that little bit of water that they have, probably hyper difficult. It's why they're sweating by the time they get, like, and nearly exhausted by the time they get through one.
Yeah.
If they had more water at their disposal at that point, maybe. If they would have made just like a rotating ring, they could have done more, maybe. But I don't know how easy that would be with a lot of water with only two people.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Toph's like trying to help slow it down by shoving shoving earth pillars into the bottom of it to hold it in place.
And then they go into the sewage system, or the kind of sewage system of that.
Well, you forget, this is when Azula and her two bitches of power show up and start fighting with everyone else.
Who's the deadpan girl?
May.
Okay, I think out of the three villainesses, I think it's like Tylee, May, Azula. Like, May has some good lines.
She's got the sarcasm. What is it? They're looking at like the fucking sewage that's leading out, like the earth and water slurry that's being taking out the exhaust essentially of this thing, and it's like, come on, we got to follow him down. And May just looks at Tylee and is just like, I don't care if Azula shoots me with all the lightning she has, I'm not going down there. And then Tylee just like shrugs her shoulders. All right, I'm going in.
Whee!
I won't be a lightning rod. I'll do it.
Whee! Into the sewage.
Only to then, once the other two get out, once Sokka and Katara get out, get literally shoved back into the exhaust. Just bend the slurry, woman!
And her first introduction to Sokka, and I think she said, like, is it just me, or is that guy kind of cute?
She says that she kind of like half flirts with him sometimes, and it's weird. Because I mean, like literally, just a couple of punches, and she could do whatever she wanted with him. Because like she kills his pressure points. Like, look, there was a point where like she's fighting him, and she like takes out his arm, his second arm, his leg, and I swear that's a reference to the Black Knight from fucking Monty Python.
Oh my god!
Like just the way it happens. And then she goes for his head, and it's just like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. She's like rubbing her hands. Oh shit! Like he's got such a thick skull. Yeah, I swear that scene was a reference to the Monty Python thing.
So the advisor to the Earth King, he's an asshole.
Yeah, like we start learning after they beat the drill, and they start like dealing with Ba Sing Se as a whole, exactly what's going on there, which is essentially that the main advisor to the Earth King is the one that's actually in control, and the Earth King's essentially just like a brainless puppet. Like he doesn't know shit about what's going on. He's basically given the illusion that everyone else is that this is a utopia world. Nothing's wrong here. Everything's great. Turns out,
not so great.
So great. Everyone gets brainwashed when they start causing a ruckus. You know, you get sent for a vacation at Lake Laogai.
They gave you some medication.
Oh no, hypnosis. Like, what is it? It's a lamp that constantly goes around in a circle, and you're forced to stare at it.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Oh, so here, I'm gonna shit on Korra a little more. I'm sorry. This isn't anything to do with Korra's story. This is more like the world building part of it. So the Dai Li, which are like the secret police essentially of Ba Sing Se, have these like earth gloves that are around their hands, right? That they can just toss off or use as like handcuffs to hold someone in place, right? These details of like the way they use earth bending or fire bending, etc., are super interesting and like the kind of thing that really brings a world together, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the way Korra handles things, because it jumps to like a 1920s era kind of thing, I feel like you lose a lot of that. Because now handcuffs are just regular handcuffs. Like they're not like earth palms that are holding your hands together. Like you're not using this like fantastical way of traveling around with this giant flying bison. You're traveling in a regular old 1920s Model T Ford. It feels like they lose a lot of the creativity by just bringing in modern day technology, and most of it feeling like it's not adapted to work into this world.
Yeah, I thought it was like there was no technology.
In the original series, there's essentially no technology. There's like steampunky stuff essentially for the Fire Nation, but that's about it. Everyone else is working in the old days.
Yeah, like medieval.
Essentially.
Almost. Yeah.
You could argue like maybe a little further back.
Okay. Yeah, because from what I've seen, there's no one in like suits of armor, really.
Nope. There is no plate mail whatsoever. The most you get is like an earthbender using earth to give themselves armor. That's about it.
Yeah.
We do get a scene of Aang doing that at one point with a bunch of like crystals.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the water armor from the end of season 1.
But yeah, it's elements though is the point. It's not just like, oh man, you're in a tin suit, cool.
Although Toph learns metal bending.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. So there's some interesting bits once they take care of Mr. Dai Li leader. They get Appa back, everything's all cool. They all decide here. There's shit that Long Fang had been like holding on to and keeping from people. One of those was a letter from Toph's mother saying that she was in the city and wanted to listen to what Toph had to say. One was a note from a guru that Appa found while he was lost. That was tied to his horn. That was taken from him when he was captured by Long Fang and the Dai Li.
Wait, on just a second. The guru is the best.
He is very funny. And then there was a report about a Water Nation ship led by Katara and Sokka's father, who we have not seen at all, ever. We only got, maybe we got a flashback, I think, in season 1 of them leaving and Sokka being left behind because he was like 8. I know we got to meet Bato at one point where they released him from Fire Nation captivity, or from being captured for the Fire Nation. But that was about all they got as far as that goes. So they're like, look, we're going to have to split up to take care of these things. Katara stays behind while everyone else goes off to do their things to help like plan the invasion, because the Earth King, after being convinced by the fucking giant drill sticking out of his city's wall that there is in fact a giant secret war going on that he has known nothing about, he
has his advisor thrown in jail.
Oh yeah, you know what? No, I'll bring it up in a minute.
Except all the loyalists to the figurehead. I mean, like the real leader of it is still loyal to him, and they're like, we're gonna overthrow the king.
Well, here's the thing, right? Long Fang is thrown in a cell. The Dai Li say they're still loyal to him, though like the generals and the military and stuff are still loyal to the Earth King. This is when we get a little detail as everyone's leaving that the Kyoshi warriors have shown up. This is where things start falling into place, because prior, during like the Appa Lost Day thing, the whole episode about where Appa was going on, one of the things that happened is that the Kyoshi warriors found him and like essentially helped him get back on his feet after he'd been like tortured and abused for a while, essentially. Turns out Azula finds them, and they basically scare Appa off to like try and find Aang, while they deal with Azula and her girls. The end of that episode literally is, oh, the Kyoshi warriors are going to show up? Cool. We're going to treat them as our honored guests. Everyone leaves, and the Kyoshi warriors show up. Oh, Azula must have finished them off, stole their clothes, and is now impersonating them. Like,
What the hell?
Oh fuck, oh no, oh god.
And they were tracking Appa because he was shedding earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm. And he was apparently still shedding after all this time too yet. Yeah! Like, this is where shit starts falling into place. We then get to the point where, like, Azula starts hearing about all the things that had gone wrong in the city. And she's like, we can deal with this. We get the Dai Li on our side. She essentially, like, convinces Long Fang, like, starts having, like, what was it? She has Ty Lee and May talk about how they're Fire Nation, like, out loud for the Dai Li to hear. Which is kind of surprising that they do it so brazenly just out on the front steps of the palace. Because I feel like somebody else would overhear them besides the Dai Li. The Dai Li bring that back to Long Fang. Long Fang has the Dai Li capture Azula, bring her in, and then essentially force her to make a deal with him to overthrow the Earth King. We get that. Katara gets captured. We get this nice little turnaround where Azula and Long Fang confront each other, and Azula's just like, oh, I know what your type is. You're the type that has clawed his way to the top and is desperate to stay there, and you'll do anything. But you see, the difference between the divine right to rule and whatever you think you have is drastically different. And one of us is going to be sitting on this throne before we leave here. The question is it going to be you or me? And Long Fang tries to call on the Dai Li, and the Dai Li are just sitting there like, we don't know who to follow. This bitch who's been like ruling our asses the last like few days and kicking our asses, or the original boss who was captured. Like, eventually Long Fang's just like, fuck, she's beaten me at my own game. She's manipulated me the way I manipulated everyone else.
And while this has been going on, Zuko is having some heel face turn.
Oh yeah, he was the original one that releases Appa from his cell after like busting his way in. He decides after Iroh follows him and convinces him to let the bison go, and he starts having like a physical reaction to his mental shift, essentially. Like, mentally, he is abandoning who he has been for years. And it is physically causing him to have, like, the most painful physical reaction, it seems possible. Like, he's got a fever, he's constantly sleeping, constantly thirsty. Like, he is having a severe reaction to this transformation, this mental transformation he's having.
Damn, dude.
And he then gets captured by Azula by pretending like, oh, the Earth King, you're going to serve tea to the Earth King, which Iroh, while they've been in the city, has been building himself up to be like this king of tea, essentially, by like working in a tea house and making the best tea in the city. And then getting so good, somebody invites him to then have his own tea shop, which he starts calling the Jade Dragon. And then gets an invitation to serve the Earth King himself tea.
And does he try to poison the Earth King?
No.
Or Earth King's good?
No, the Earth King's fine. It turns out that at this point the Earth King was captured. Azula used it to capture them.
Oh.
So Azula has captured both Zuko and Iroh manages to escape and looks to like Aang for help. Leading up to this point, Sokka meets up with their father. Toph gets captured in a metal fucking cage and is being brought back to her family by the two bounty hunters that her family sent after her.
And she learns metal bending and escapes her confines.
See, here's the interesting bit, and the way it gets set up is really good. Because, like, during this time, Aang is learning about chakras from the Guru and how you need to get over certain aspects of yourself, whether that's your guilt, whether that's your losses, whether that's, you know,
Your fear,
whatever, your fear, etc., etc. The one point where he's like revealing things to Aang, it's like, look, we are all connected. Even the four elements are the same. Even metal is just a refined form of earth. To which we flip back to fucking Toph, who's just like banging away at the metal and is like, you're getting her like weird sensory like kind of thing where you see like the waves going around and you see like reflected earth within the metal there. And she starts bending the metal.
Oh shit.
Something nobody's ever done before.
Damn.
Like,
yeah, I was like, go Toph!
She literally tears open the back. The two guys like hop off their wagon that's carrying them, run around to the back, and they're like, what is this? This is one of her tricks again. There's a giant hole in the cage. What kind of trick could this be?
And she throws them in, locks the door behind them.
Oh no, she throws them in by like kicking their butts in with like an earth bending thing, grabs each side of the cage and smashes it back together. And is like, and then jumps on top of it and for good measure stomps on top of it and says, I am the best earthbender in the world, and hops off and starts running her way back with like giant pieces of earth pushing her away and forward.
And we're gonna be in here for a while, aren't we?
I have to pee.
Yeah. Would it be bad to say I have to pee?
Bangs his head on the wall. God fucking damn it.
Oh my god. And then we get to the not Kyoshi warriors.
Oh, we're forgetting a bit. You're skipping over a bit here. So there's a point where Aang nearly gets to get control of the Avatar state. He has to let go of like his earthly attachments. What attaches him to the world?
He really can't control the Avatar state unless he's in like real deep danger or...
Oh, he doesn't even have control of it then. That's just when it happens.
Yeah.
Like even then, it's completely out of his control.
So he can't turn it on and off unless something happens. And once he masters it, he can go in and out at will.
Yes. Once he opens up all the chakras, as the Guru says, he'll be able to go in and out at will and have full control of himself while in it. Thing is, the last chakra to unlock means he has to like throw away his earthly attachments, which means he'd have to throw away the thing he loves, which is Katara. Which, like, what is it he says? Like, 3 chakras back, that was a good thing.
Yeah. And he is about to do it, but senses Katara is in danger. And
it's like an Avatar vision.
Yes. And if he leaves, he will never be able to enter the Avatar state.
Yeah, the Guru says the chakra will be locked permanently and you'll never be able to go into the Avatar state again. Like, even unwillingly.
Damn.
Oh, excuse that.
Damn,
and still leave because,
sir.
you know, earthly attachment.
That's rough.
Yeah.
So what does he do?
He leaves. He goes back to help save Katara.
Oh shit.
Which when they get back to the house and meet up with Toph, which great joke, they fly in and Sokka yells, "Yo, you need a lift?" And because like fucking Toph has no idea they're there, she completely loses her balance, not like expecting to hear anything like that. It just like crashes face first into the ground. But yeah, they meet up and they meet back at the house, and this is when Iroh shows up after like having escaped from Azula to ask for help. They end up getting some information out of a Dai Li agent that Iroh had captured. And it's like, oh, there's an ancient city underneath Ba Sing Se. What they call, I think, Old Ba Sing Se, which they split up. Sokka and Toph go off to try and find the Earth King, and then Aang and Iroh go to like dig their way down into the city, which essentially Toph and Sokka find the Earth King and then get the King's bear back after like leaving May and Ty Lee fucked. Like Ty Lee's messing around and Toph just kind of like captures her arm in the earth.
Oh, wait.
Her legs.
What was the joke? It's like, a bear? You mean a platypus bear, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a bear. Oh, it has to be like an owl bear. No, it's just a bear. That's
Just says
incredibly
bear.
boring.
It's the most hilarious thing because every single thing in Avatar has been a fusion of some like two creatures, right?
Okay.
Like in the desert, we had fucking vulture wasp.
Oh god, that sounds terrifying.
We've had a platypus bear in like season 1. We've had like different fusions of different things. Like sky bison is its own unique one, and it's one of the few. Hell, Korra's version of that is a fucking polar bear dog.
What?
Yeah, she rides a polar bear dog.
Woo. That sounds adorable and hilarious.
Oh, it's great. Look, that is one of the good things in Korra. I love the polar bear dog. It's a cool idea. But yeah, this one, it's like, it's just a regular bear. It's like, that just seems boring. They didn't even try. But it's like, of course the Earth King is going to have the rare animal, which is the one thing that's a regular animal. Like, just a real regular animal. It's fucking dangerous and would still be considered like a rare thing to actually own like that. But in here it's crazier because it's a normal animal in a world of fusion animals.
Yes. So Iroh and Aang are against their will kind of teaming up, even though it seems that Iroh is convincing them, hey, I'm on your side now. I've turned my back on the Fire Nation. Zuko sees Aang and is at war with himself again.
We should also point out that Katara, while being imprisoned with Zuko during this time, nearly actually uses the spiritual water she got from the from the North Pole to like heal Zuko's scar, like the facial scar.
She's like the water boy. We got the Arctic water in it.
I just posted the buzzard wasp.
Oh,
That's what they're actually called, not a vulture wasp.
Oh god. What the hell?
so then Azula shows up, says like, hey Zuko, want your honor back? Kill the Avatar.
Oh shit, that's right. There was a what do they call it? I think the actual term for this is a porcupine.
A porcupine?
Yeah, that's the thing that starts fighting Appa in one of his things.
Oh yeah.
It's a wild boar porcupine, or like the, or in the what is it called, the swamp. It's like a fusion of a catfish alligator, so it's called a cat gator.
That would actually be really terrifying. If it's a catfish like with the alligator body, that would be terrifying.
Oh, by the way, I forgot about this. How'd you like the cactus juice stuff?
Oh, the cactus juice.
Where he's just losing his shit.
Getting so high.
Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, I forget, where were we in this? Oh yeah, right. We were getting to the point where Zuko relapses. Any change that he has made up until this point, he has relapsed because now he starts fighting to capture the Avatar again with Azula. Like Azula comes in, gives him the option of, look, you can betray me. You can go with Uncle and just leave, but we'll hunt you down again. or you can help me, and we can take the avatar, and Father will bring you back into the fold. You'll be back, the prince again.
He ditches the old unk.
He ditches the old unk. He betrays Unky.
He betrays his grunkle, dude.
He betrays his great uncle. I will use that as great because Iroh's amazing.
And somehow, after a lot of meditation, Aang manages to activate Avatar State.
So what happens is we get into a fight. Eventually, while they're slowly gaining ground, the Dai Li start dropping in, like legions of Dai Li, and Aang realizes, like, shit, there's too many. We cannot fight them all. There's no way. So he quickly creates an earth barrier around him and quickly starts meditating and goes back to what he was supposed to do with the guru. He throws away Katara as an attachment, enters the Avatar state with a giant glowing power.
Only to be
Only for Azula
down.
to shoot him with lightning.
Yes.
And kill him.
Well,
it goes from Aang rising up and looking all powerful to a reflection in the eyes of, I think it's Katara? No, it's Azula, I think. Of Azula, of him getting electrocuted. And you see him falling out of the Avatar state and all of this stuff.
how did he get electrocuted?
Azula fires lightning at him.
Oh shit! Okay.
She's got her firebending mastery going on. Yeah, no, she rushed. What is it? Katara sees this, loses her shit, and rushes in with a giant tidal wave of because there's an underground river cutting through the battlefield that they're on. Mm-hmm. Grabs all the water out of there and essentially tidal waves over everyone to grab Aang. Iroh at this point has released himself from the crystal prison essentially that the Dai Li put him in, and is look, get away. I will. What is it? He says, "I'll hold them off as long as I can." And Katara manages to go out the underground waterfall that's there to get out with Aang.
And luckily, she didn't use the healing water on Zuko because she used it on Aang and
revives
back
him
to life.
See, this is where I was saying this is the perfect example of how you cut off previous avatars if that's what you wanted to do. You could have done this trick. Because there's an argument here that Aang isn't completely dead in this case. We don't see any of the previous avatars start disappearing or anything like that. In the spirit world or what have you. But they could have totally done this in Korra if they had set it up correctly. They could have done it where Korra nearly dies. She may as well be dead, but has managed to be brought back from the brink. However, the cost of bringing her back is that, the cycle is broken. She's lost the connection to the previous avatars.
Okay.
That's the way I would think would work best.
Yeah.
So Ba Sing Se has fallen.
Yep, Azula has full control.
So now the Fire Nation now controls the Earth Kingdom.
The only thing left at this point then would be the North Pole and little holdouts throughout the Earth Kingdom.
So things have been gone from good to bad to, oh my god, things are awful.
Oh yeah. Also, we should point out that Azula knows about the Day of Black Sun. She knows that it's coming. I don't know if she knows the exact date, but she knows that it's a thing that they need to worry about.
So, come back around February for season 3. Because, oh my god, I cannot wait for the rest of this series.
Now imagine if they never showed Aang getting revived until the next season.
What the hell?
Imagine how that would have tasted.
Ooh.
People might have been pretty upset.
Ooh.
So it's a pretty good season, though.
Oh yeah, everything falling into place the way it does at the end of the season feels so fucking good. It's everything is coming together. Everything is just the dominoes are falling perfectly into place.
Yeah.
I am not 100% sure how I should tease the next episode because
I don't know how to tease it either because neither of us have actually seen this one. We've only heard like that there's good things about it. Hope the mob doesn't rule, I guess.
Yeah. All with their high numbers of craziness.
Mm,
I don't know, but
yeah.
I'm sure this will be a good time.
Can they tell that we're coming up with these stupid things on the spot?
Maybe. Sometimes, if I'm familiar with it, I might be like, oh yeah, I have a good lead in, but now I'm like, I have nothing.
Yeah, no, we're lost.
Oh my god.
Let's just say that it's a psychic mob. That's all I can say.
Okay, so until then, later.
Bye.
See you.